What's up, guys? My name is Eric Zink, and welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, make sure you hit the like and follow button. And if you're rejoining back, awesome, welcome. I'm going to be talking about ADHD, emotional regulation, and alcohol, and how this is such a addictive combination for us. I share through a lot of lived experiences. I'm a recovering cocaine and alcoholic addict. And one of the things that we don't realize when it comes to alcohol and why we become so addicted to it so easily if we are ADHD is that it's almost designed for us. People with ADHD, we do not emotionally regulate well. Our prefrontal cortex isn't the same as everybody's. Our baseline dopamine isn't the same as everybody's. And we don't emotionally regulate well like everybody. So one of the things that happens to us is like people with ADHD will they'll lose their temper over some of the smallest things. And we have an amazing temper. And so what you'll see happen to somebody who's ADHD, because we don't emotionally regulate very well, something small happens, and now all of a sudden it irritates, and we start to have this internal conversation. And now we're going to pick up on something else that maybe irritated us that day, and something else that irritated us the day before, and something else that irritated us. And next thing you know, we're starting to get angry. Now we're starting to get mad. And we can just blow up over some of the smallest things. And the reason is temper actually, and anger is an emotion that does create dopamine. It starts to hyper-focus. We're having this conversation in our head just fuming over some of this stuff, and they don't ever pay attention, and look at how they don't care because they did this again. We're having this conversation just getting so angry over one of the smallest things ever. It goes to show how we don't emotionally regulate well. So what happens is when it comes to just how our emotions and feelings are, we don't emotionally regulate anger well, sadness, even happiness well. We don't know how to actually experience these emotions. We don't know how to soothe through these emotions. And let's face it, we are marketed alcohol all of our life of this is something to go out and have fun. Well, we had a bad day, so they're telling me, all the commercials are telling me go drink because I'm going to go have fun. And you drink, and guess what? That creates dopamine. Now, all of a sudden, our brain shifts and it emotionally regulates us. And why and how it emotionally regulates us is it shifts the dopamine from whatever we're hyper-focused on having these conversations about, maybe getting amped up about, to alcohol all of a sudden. That this is creating dopamine. I'm not even going to remember what I was fuming over because I become hyper-fixated on alcohol and drinking and this high that it's giving me, this dopamine that it's giving me. And that's why people who drink with ADHD are going to drink more, faster. They're going to pass out before everybody else. They're going to get drunker than everybody else so much faster. It's because it hijacks our brain in that aspect where we don't even realize that time is passing us by. We are doing a shot and a beer and then another shot, and we realize that the person we're sitting next to hasn't even finished their beer yet. But for us, our brain is kicked into high gear of going, I need more of this. I'm thriving on it. This is helping me. We can't we don't emotionally regulate any of this, and it hijacks us. So it's all off of impulse. And a lot of this stuff to us kind of makes sense. Like, man, this is really helping me calm down. I had a bad day, and this is really starting to relax me. So if I drink more, I'm going to feel more relaxed. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to feel happier. I'm going to feel all of these great emotions. So why don't we just drink more? This is going to last longer, all of it. And guess what? That takes over. And we don't logically think, hey, I'm drinking this, I'm going to get drunk. That will never cross somebody's mind with ADHD. And so that is one of the many ways that, alcohol will hijack us. And that is also one of the main reasons why people with ADHD are more likely to become alcoholics than people without ADHD. Because we don't realize what's happening to us. Our brain, next time we have a really bad day and maybe we start a cycle again of we're angry and we're starting to have this internal conversation, there's all of a sudden this new voice in our head that'll be like, let's just go get a bottle. Let's just go get some drinks. And guess what? We're going to go get those drinks because there's a part of us that's like, yeah, that did make me feel better. So now we're going to go get it. And guess what? This starts becoming a cycle because that's all that addiction really is. Addiction is rewiring the pathway of your brain to what it feels that it needs to provide a controlled solution that's not even controlled. So we don't even realize that this is these thoughts that we're having that keep drawing us to drinking until all of a sudden it just becomes just a knee-jerk reaction that every time we get mad, we have to drink. Every time after work, we have to drink. Every time we're sad, we have to drink. Every time we're happy, we have to drink. That we become so reliant on alcohol that we don't even with ADHD realize that this is happening. And that's one of the scary things about ADHD. And that's one of the scary things about how we get addicted so easily. It does affect our central nervous system. It is one of the deadliest detoxes there is out there. You can go into cardiac arrest. You can go into seizures and die. There's a lot that alcohol actually does to you that's very toxic, very negative. But for ADHD, our brain almost looks at this as a solution. And so that is why we struggle with it so much. It is so common for people with ADHD to use alcohol to regulate. Because let's face it, we don't even know how to regulate happiness. And the reason we don't know how to regulate happiness and how you can tell is how loud we get. And we're bouncing off the walls because we're just producing this dopamine off of it. Well, if we could find something else that produces dopamine, it's not us. It's a calmer feeling. This is how we're supposed to be. And the worst part is I think anybody you talk to with ADHD, and correct me if I'm wrong, comment down below, it makes us feel normal. Like I'm not too much is what it makes me feel like. And unfortunately, you don't remember what you did the night before. You don't remember all the embarrassing stuff you did, all the ways that maybe you've hurt other people. Like you don't remember any of this stuff. But you think you were normal, unfortunately. And I've been there before, man. I'm a recovering cocaine and alcoholic addict. We are drawn to stuff that creates dopamine. And our brain resists wanting to use it, especially if you're unmedicated. The one thing I will say is I learned that when I was medicated, I didn't have an urge to drink. Because I could logically go, okay, what else can I do to regulate myself? Okay, I'm getting really angry. Let me go put on some music and let me go walk outside. Let me breathe in the air, change the environment. I know all these knee-jerk healthy coping skills that actually create some dopamine for me that I really enjoy. So now I'm not relying on the alcohol. Again, though, you don't learn this stuff right away. And that's why, we with ADHD have such an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. And this is something I wish I would have known. I mean, I got diagnosed ADD at 13, and this is back in the early 90s. And yes, in the early 90s, there was ADD and ADHD. I was re-diagnosed ADHD at 17, so like 97. Now, I don't even think there's ADD anymore. It's all ADHD, and there's different, it's constantly evolving and changing the more that they learn and know about this stuff. And I got diagnosed in Michigan, so, they're behind the times anyhow. My therapist was behind, I guess, the times anyhow. But again, it's not uncommon to have this unhealthy relationship. And this is one of the things of why we got to respect alcohol and acknowledge alcohol. And just because we're ADHD doesn't mean that you're going to be an alcoholic. It just means that the likelihood is higher. Like that is proven that you are more likely to be, but it doesn't guarantee that you are. And again, this is why I share. I share just through my lived experiences. This is something I really wish I would have known. Would it have stopped me from being an alcoholic? Probably not. Maybe. Probably not, though. I would have looked at alcohol, I know, a little bit differently because at least when I was diagnosed, I was a lot more impressionable. So I might have been like, ooh, maybe I should stay more away from that. I don't know. But I was never given that opportunity. And so that's why I think it's so important to share. And, if you're new to the channel, this is what I share on. I love to share about mental health. I love to share about addiction. I know what it's like to fight through a lot of this stuff, and you're not alone. Hit the like and follow button if you're new. Comment down below. And again, for anybody out there getting sober, remember there is no right or wrong way of getting sober. It is your way. Whether it is going into rehab, inpatient treatment, or outpatient treatment, download Sunflower Sober. I have them tagged down below. Refine Recovery, which is an amazing rehab in Beverly Hills, is tagged down below. But Sunflower Sober is on iOS and Google Play. It's an app. It tracks your days of sobriety. There's a whole community section there. There's an AI sponsor for 24-hour support. There's doctors in there. There's therapists in there. There's journaling. Like there's everything in Sunflower Sober you need to get sober and stay sober. Go to an AA meeting, an NA meeting, an Al-Anon meeting. Go to all those meetings and then some. But don't give up. Just keep fighting through. Talk to a psychiatrist, a doctor, a therapist. Get on the right meds. Find what works for you. And it does get better. And we do heal and work through a lot of this. But again, it takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of understanding. And you're going to have a lot of aha moments. But remember this, that I don't know when it's going to get better for you, but it is going to get better. So don't give up. For the one pushing through every single day, I am proud of you. Don't give up, and you got this.